Hi, Linda. Let me know when you can hear me. Hi,
Okay,
how's it going?
good, good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. How
Yeah.
is your practice going? How are your songs? Where do you feel like they're at right now?
Okay. So the week after our last lesson, my mom
Yeah.
passed away. And
Oh,
we
Linda.
yeah, and we were sitting with her and I didn't practice at all
Yeah, of
that week.
course.
And then the next week we were on vacation. I didn't
Oh,
practice.
oh man. Oof.
So this week
What a
I thought,
vacation. Oi.
yeah, yeah. But actually,
Oh, but maybe you needed
it was such
it.
a blessing to have that vacation scheduled right then.
Yeah.
I really feel like that was God showing love to me. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Just
really,
letting you have
yeah,
time
right,
to
right,
grieve and feel and process and step
yes,
away from everything.
yes.
Yeah.
So I am grieving, so that makes you tired and it's harder to
Yeah.
get going for things. But I have gotten back to practicing some this week.
Okay.
I went through our last lesson 4 times total. So that was working a lot on continuous breath support through Was It a Morning Like This? And
Yeah.
that's next week that I'm supposed to sing that song. So that's what I'm going to
Right.
focus on today.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm so sorry. That is
Thank you.
awful and hard, and there's nothing I can say that will make it any better, but I'm really, really sorry that you're
Thank you.
going through that, and
Thank you.
it's just painful and awful. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully singing can be something that brings you joy or at least a way to kind of connect with your faith and,
Absolutely.
find comfort, and
Yeah.
process that a little bit. I know for me, music has been a really good way to process emotions um,
Mhm.
and kind of like piano, it really has it's been proven to reduce stress and like cortisol in your body and like, adrenaline and stuff. Like if you are really stressed, it calms your whole physiology. So, by and singing, it's great because it engages both sides of your brain. It activates both sides and they're working
Mhm.
together. So it's music, research has shown is really, really healing. So I hope that it'll be something that is a
So,
blessing to you right now.
yeah,
So,
that'll help.
have you
Yeah.
sung today?
Yes, I did sing
Okay,
earlier.
excellent. Great. Do you feel like you're pretty warmed up? Are there any techniques or things that you feel like you want to touch on before we try our songs?
Um, Not necessarily, no. I'm
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, since we have Was It a Morning Like This right around the corner, I
Yeah.
think that really focusing in on making sure you feel comfortable and ready and prepared with that would be a great focus. So,
Yeah.
why don't we have you go ahead and sing through that one? I'd love to hear it. And then I'll just listen for things that I think might be helpful in polishing. The song, so it's just those little refining things.
Yeah, I'm getting back to it too. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Was it a morning like this when the sun still hid from Jerusalem and Mary rose from her bed to tell the Lord she thought was dead? Was it morning like this when Mary walked down from Jerusalem and two angels stood at the tomb, bearers of news she would hear soon? Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound? He is risen. He is risen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Was it morning like this when Peter and John ran from Jerusalem? And as they raced toward the tomb, beneath their feet was there a tomb. Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound? He is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound? He is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Was it a morning like this when my Lord looked down on Jerusalem? He's risen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Wonderful. How did that feel? Good. Excellent. All right. Well, I think especially with having stepped away from it for a little while, that sounded great. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I felt okay. I
Yeah.
felt like as I went on, it got a little better. But yeah,
So, yeah, I agree with that, where you kind of warmed up into it, right? That
yeah,
as you went, you were like, okay, that's feeling better, and you settle more into it, which is
yeah.
great. Um, really nice. Okay, so then, let's see. So then, what do you feel like this song needs the most at this point? Like what's feeling really solid and what feels like to you like you would love for that to be even more clearly solidified for yourself, that you'll go in and feel really comfortable with it.
Well, I would love to hear any suggestions you have, but one thing is just the dynamics of it, like s- softer and louder when should that happen, kind of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, yeah, so let's go through and let's think in terms of what's happening in the song and the context, the lyrics, but let's also think in terms of what you're hearing in the music as well. Yeah. So when you're listening through, what do you usually um, notice or what stands out to you about this particular?
Oh, as far as like the dynamics go, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, well, I was just thinking of some of the emotions in it. I mean, when it starts out, Mary might have been still very, very sad and grieving herself because she doesn't realize that Jesus is risen. Um,
Hmm.
so I was thinking that might be a little softer or a little more subdued.
Mm.
Um, and
Nice.
then maybe building, being a little brighter perhaps when the two angels are mentioned.
Oh, I like
That
that. Yeah.
that news. Um,
Nice. I like that idea.
okay. Um, as far as the chorus, I mean, that's just, ugh, I, it feels like it should be pretty loud the whole, the whole way through.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
the
I
ground,
always like to
the
think
earth
in terms
rejoice?
of shape. So if you feel like this chorus, like maybe the first chorus is like a mezzo forte, like a medium loud. And
Mhm.
then, the next chorus, maybe it's a forte, a regular loud. And then maybe the last chorus is a fortissimo, an extra loud, right? I'm always thinking in terms of where's the song's peak? What's a strong beginning, middle, and end? What's our shape? So what would you say is the peak of the song? The moment that you feel like it builds to this peak. That's the biggest moment.
Okay, I'm thinking. Well, maybe the last Hallelujah,
Okay.
that He is risen. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love that.
Okay, so I'm writing down what you said about the choruses. Yeah. Okay. So that would be the fortissimo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Okay, so Um, and I'm not saying you have to do it exactly the way that I said as an example. It's more of just to kind of give you that concept. It's kind of like in a story, right? Or a film. There's always kind of like a moment that it builds to, right? And usually there's some kind of conflict, and then, that builds and builds and builds to the peak, and then there's some kind of resolution, right? And with the song, we want to think of that shape as well,
Okay.
right? So, it seems very introspective to me. Like, was it a morning like this? Right?
Yeah.
That it's like, what was it like then? That you're
Mhm.
pondering and reflecting. Um,
Mhm.
but then it becomes more of this just like epic praise, glorifying and,
Mhm.
hallelujah, right? And so I think that there are different things happening throughout. So if you're like the chorus is just very celebratory, then yeah, sing out the chorus, make it big, make it
Yeah.
celebratory.
Yeah.
Um, and then I feel like you can, come down for those more introspective moments as well and be
Uh-huh.
softer. Um, Not so soft that we lose the support. Softness can have an intensity to it. Yeah. Um, and you could really be asking the congregation, was it a morning like this? When this happened and when this
Uh-huh.
happened, right? And then when you get to that chorus, it's almost like inviting them to join in with you and like shout hallelujah, right? Hosanna, right? Waving palm branches. You want them to feel that with you, inviting
Uh-huh.
them to worship with you. So, yeah, like and what's cool is even when you ask rhetorical questions, people do reflect and go, "What is the answer to that?" So you are really engaging them. So I
Mhm.
I love that. Yeah. So then other parts that you feel like maybe we should identify, and it can even be moments where there's like a swell, like it builds up and then it like resolves, or it could be a phrase that just crescendo, 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 right? The whole time. Or it could be a moment that starts really intense and then it tapers off. So those kind of nuances as well. And the music, the way it's composed, can kind of give you insights into that too. So think about what you're hearing in the track as well to give you an influence and guide you a little bit. So looking at that, what are some of the more nuanced moments?
Well, I'm curious about that final Hallelujah, the Yah that goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
Should that be like all like one volume, or should it build and then
I
get
think a
softer?
crescendo.
Or
I think there because
crescendo?
it's so boisterous. I might do start it maybe like a like a mezzo forte, so I have more room to grow. And then you could also use like accents like Alleluia, right? Like if you accent, it'll make it feel a little stronger, even if it is a little bit softer. But if you start a little softer, then you have more room to grow, which is going to make it a more dramatic moment. So even if you were
Mhm.
louder before, kind of come down and then build it again.
Okay.
Um, and it just gives it more momentum, more movement. And then another thing you can do to build that intensity is start it, Alleluia, as you crescendo,
Yeah.
have it more straight tone at the beginning and then add vibrato as you hold it out. And that's another way you can add, more building and more excitement and more of that, intensity in that moment. Because I think it's just victorious in that moment. Like he's risen.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like he's conquered death. This is the most exciting thing. This is the thing that is
Yeah.
the most beautiful thing that we have in Christianity, right? And in
Mhm.
Catholicism, that it's Jesus is risen, right?
Mhm.
And that he conquered death, right? And so I think that, like you said before, it's like that's the pinnacle of this
Mhm.
song. So letting it grow in every way that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is going to be the drama part, right? So we're on Hallelujah are the pitches. Can we just try legato? We're going to try Hallelujah. And you're going to let it grow as you hold it out. Yeah? So just
Okay.
a cappella. Nice. Yeah, I definitely heard those accents. Nice, strong accents there. I love that. And the holding it out and the warmth and the resonance. Beautiful. Yeah. How did that feel for you? Do you like that?
Good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. So then I want to work on some of those parts that are softer with some intensity. Was it a morning like this? Right? Where it's she's a little bit softer, but there's a lot of diction there. It's very speech like, was it a morning like this? Right? So lots of diction there. Yeah. So could
Okay.
we go through it again? I want you to think of in the verses more diction and a quiet intensity. And then I want you to think in the choruses, it's more warm and like blossoming and resonant and ringing through the room and soaring vocals in those sections. Yeah. And also
Give
think
it a
about the
shot.
song is going to build and build and build to that peak right at the end. Yeah. So if you
Okay.
feel like you get too big in one moment, you can always come back down and then build again.
Uh-huh.
Right. So it's all about forever continuously changing. If we just stay the same, the same, the same, that's when it gets kind of when people mentally check out. People will be more on the edge of their seats if there are things changing all the time. They're like, what's going to happen next, right? And it's a subconscious thing. So if you feel like, oh, I built up to my loudest here, that's okay. Come back down and then you can build
Uh-huh.
again.
All right. Get back to the beginning here. Okay.
Sure.
Was it a morning like this when the sun still hid from Jerusalem and Mary rose from her bed to tend the Lord she thought was dead? Was it a morning like this when Mary walked down from Jerusalem and two angels stood at the tomb, bearers of news she would hear soon? Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound, he is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Alleluia, alleluia. morning like this when Peter and John ran from Jerusalem, and as they raced toward the tomb, beneath their feet was there a tomb. Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound? He is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Alleluia, alleluia. Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound? He is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Alleluia, alleluia. Was it a morning like this when Jesus looked down on Jerusalem? He is risen. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. I have to keep practicing that.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So I already am hearing a lot of those changes. So, now it's going to be really locking that down for yourself and practicing it. But I definitely hear the differences there. It's really, really fun to hear. Okay. So I think that overall, you've got a really good grasp on the melody, the patterns, the rhythms. I think you've got the words down. And so like you said, it's just practicing these new small changes, right? I really like the balance of brightness and warmth in your voice. That's really beautiful. I'm trying to think. Do you feel really confident with the vowel shapes when you're low and high, with like being more closed when you're lower and more open when you're taller? Like he is risen. You might feel like you need to do more he is resin, or like he is raisin. So there's a little more height there. He's risen. A little more open. So certain vowels, I feel like if we open a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable there. And then another thing I wanted to mention is, instead of like he is risen, the way that we say it, he is risen. We don't want to close so early. We want to hold the vowels out as long as possible. So like, he's risen. Hallelujah. I'm risen. And I only do the N, that final consonant, right at the last second before I start the other word. So stretching out your vowels a little bit longer. So when you're in those higher parts, really focus on dropping that jaw more and opening that palate more, even if it modifies the vowel shape a little bit. Your lips and your tongue can still shape for the vowel, but that open space is based on where you are in your range. Yeah, so a little taller in those spaces, and then, darn it, I lost my train of thought. That's the main thing that I was talking about. Oh, and the vowels. Elongating the vowels as long as possible. He is risen. Alleluia. Right? So here how I'm stretching those vowels, and then I just sort of tack on the consonant at the very beginning or the very end. Yeah? All right. Those two things. Let's go ahead and try it.
All right. Why is it not playing? Did I? Looks like, I'm sorry, the volume just went away. So, okay. Here we go. Was it a morning like this when the sun still hid from Jerusalem and Mary rose from her bed to tend the Lord she thought was dead? Was it a morning like this when Mary walked down from Jerusalem and two angels stood at the tomb, bearers of news she would hear soon? Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound, he is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Was it a morning like this when Peter and John ran from Jerusalem and they raced for the tomb? Beneath their feet was there a tomb? Did the grass sing? Did the earth rejoice to feel you again? Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound, he is risen. Over and over in never-ending round, he is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Over and over like a trumpet underground, did the earth seem to pound, he is risen. Over and over in a never-ending round, he is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Was it a morning like this when my Lord looked down on Jerusalem? He is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I got to practice putting all those things together.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was beautiful, though. I definitely heard the changes there.
Okay.
Did
Thank
you
you.
feel good with that?
I think again, I think I just have to, think about the dynamics and the vowels together for a while to get them both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. That right now it's a lot to think about all at once.
right.
I definitely did hear the changes, though. I was really pleased with what I was hearing. Um,
Good.
so what is feeling really good for you at this point? What were maybe some connections you made and things that you were like, "Oh, I like this. I want to keep that."
The crescendo at the end, um, working on that quiet intensity in the verses,
Nice. Yeah.
especially. Um, yeah, and some changes within it, going with the music as far as dynamics go.
Nice. Yeah.
Uh, okay.
Wonderful. All right. Um, so this week, what's going to be your practice plan? Because again, this is right around the corner. So how are you going to, I guess, prioritize your time spent practicing this week? Are you going to have any practice at the church, for instance? Like, what are the things that you're going to be doing in preparation?
I have to find that out tomorrow. I'm not sure
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
what the plans are
Sure,
there.
absolutely.
So, yeah, I imagine they'll want me to come in and, make sure the track is working and, um, figure out the mic settings and all that. So,
Yeah. Okay, nice.
so we'll do that. I want to listen a lot to your lesson over and over. That always
Okay.
helps me to solidify
Yes.
the things we've talked about.
Nice.
And then I want to sing with the track, maybe with that because that's what we did. I think I need to do a little warm up before though.
Okay. Make sure that your voice is
Yeah.
ready to dive in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always think it's helpful just even if you did sing earlier in the day, just to do a little bit of a little, brush up, warm up right before you dive into the song.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go
Yeah.
out to my car next Sunday morning.
Yeah. I mean, even like if you're waiting in the service, and you like, you have songs before you go and stuff that you can be singing to warm up, or you can, if you're like behind and about to enter or something, you can do like a little, or if I can't make noise, I'll still work on my breath and kind of like stretch out my palate. I'll be like practicing stretching that and like connecting to my breath as well. Just quietly kind of getting those muscles working.
Are you still available next Saturday too
Yes.
for
Yep.
final brush up? Final brush up?
Yes. Yep. Right before your Sunday morning
Yeah. Okay. Good.
celebration. Yep.
That'll
Absolutely.
that'll be my dress rehearsal, so to speak.
Excellent. Love it.
All right.
Maybe we can have you stand up and do it the way you're going to do it in
Okay.
in mass.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
All
Awesome.
righty.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. All right, great. So, happy practicing and I will see you
Thank you.
Saturday.
Okay. I'll see
Bye,
you then.
Linda.
Bye bye.